There are Nasser and there are Ian. Ian, hello to you. And first of all, what was your reaction to the Strauss analysis of when his declaration was going to come? And in fact, he made it earlier than it anticipated.
Well, I suggest whoever the England think tank is at the moment, they tow it out the harbour here and sink it in the deepest channel, because it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. The West Indies had no intentions of chasing down. If we'd have left them, as I know Bob Willis was saying, if they'd have left them 180 and we'd have declared with Matt Pryor, if we'd have declared with Matt Pryor that was 210, they wouldn't have even considered chasing it, but we would probably have won the game. England have lost this series 1-0. They should have won it 2-1. They should have won in Antigua. They were overly negative there, ran out of time, and they've gone. To watch them do it again, deja vu, is beyond me. Really is beyond me. And I really feel for people like Jimmy Anderson, who worked his socks off out there, and he's ended up on a losing team. And I'm sorry, I think that if that's the way they're thinking, no wonder they haven't won a test all winter.
Nasser, your thoughts on the day as it panned out? It was obviously very tense and exciting towards the end. Were they ever really getting there? I mean, they were 2 wickets away.
Well, I think they were very close to getting there, to be honest. Obviously, just by 2 wickets, that could come very, very quickly. I agree with everything Ian said there. Ian's not been wise after the event. He said that at the start of the day, that I felt at the start of the day to have 2 bites just before lunch with a new ball, 20 minutes before lunch and then after lunch. But Charles, as you know, you've been around forever. There's always a difference between what us commentators say once we've finished and when we're playing. When you're playing, there is a fear of losing. When you're not playing anymore and you're a commentator, that fear of losing's gone. You see things clearly and you think, right, this is how we're going to win the game. And Andrew Strauss and Andy Flower have to get that fear of losing out of their system. That's why there is always a 20-minute, half an hour, 30-run difference between the off-field pundits and the men that actually matter. He got it slightly wrong here. They got it wrong in Antigua with the night watchman. I'm not worried about the enforcing of the follow-on. That was a 50-50. To send in Anderson as a night watchman, they got it wrong. And they were outplayed in Jamaica when they were bowled out for 51. As David Gower said on the presentation, England continue to play catch-up cricket. I feel for James Anderson. I feel for Graham Swan. I feel to a degree for Monty Panesar, because the efforts they put in today, Collingwood's catching was exceptional. There are a lot of boys here that have done very, very well, but the bottom line is England haven't won a game all winter, and they have got to find an attack to get 20 wickets away from home. They haven't got that at the moment.
And also, Charles, I'm saying, if you look at the extras we gave away and the drop catches we gave away, we still would have won this game. So England's performance, I hear this word, the positives out of this series, it's baloney. It is baloney. We're scared of our own shadows.
I've got Alex Stewart sitting here with me who wants to join in the conversation, because I think you feel much the same.
Yeah, I agree with both of you, Nasser and Ian, but just want to say, Nasser, why was there a fear factor today? England knew they had to win this test match to square the series, so they had to be willing to lose to square the series up.
Alex,
and I know that's we're commentators.
I completely agree with you. We've all said that, completely agree with you, but it is almost like you've trained the brain. You sit there in the dressing room, you work out an equation for what you're going to set them, and you very rarely say, oh, whatever. They're not going to chase it, whatever, let's pull out. That's what they should have done. I'm completely backing you, but I'm just telling you the way captains, this captain, previous captains work. They've trained the brain to work out a formula. What's left in the day? How many overs? What are we going to set them? It's done throughout county cricket, international cricket. What should have happened today was that rule book thrown away and just said, whatever. They're not going to chase it, so we will declare 20 minutes before lunch. I said yesterday the best thing that could happen to England this morning was to be bowled out. 180 all out, England would have won this game.
But the extraordinary and the incredible thing is that Strauss said right at the start of our programme, and you heard it, we're going to be positive, we're going to be brave, I'm going to risk losing, and I'm quite happy with that if I lose the match. And then he said in the presentation, well, we got the run so quickly we could pull out 10 overs early. So, I mean, 56 overs, he was never getting anywhere near bowling the West Indies out.
Yeah, the buck stops with the captain. Andy Flower would have had some input. Andy is quite a cautious person, so, you know, they need someone in that partnership, if that's going to be the partnership of the future, someone to be a little bit more forthcoming and say, right, we're going to play more positive cricket. But as Ian just said, a lot of focus, Charles, and rightly, we're all cross, a lot of viewers across, are going to be about the declaration, and rightly so. But if England had taken their catches, Strauss had taken Nash at silly point, the runs, the byes, the extras, England would have won this game. So there are other areas England are going to have to work on. The most important is 20 wickets and finding an attack that will take you 20 wickets away from home.
Bob?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're just completely overwhelmed with this negativity all the time. And I agree entirely with Ian about this claptrap we hear on that podium time after time, the positives we're taking out of this series. The fact is we're going down the gurgler, Charles. We've gone from second in the world to sixth. Everybody was expecting us to steamroller the West Indies, at least 2-0 in this series, and win comfortably in England against them. Can we seriously say we're going to beat them 2-0 in England now? Is this side on the downslope towards the Ashes while the Aussies are in the ascendancy?
Let me ask you a question here, Ian. The record since 2005, we've been talking about that. We've won 4 series since 2005. New Zealand twice, West Indies once when Peter Moores first took over, and we beat Pakistan, which all ended in tears, of course, at the Oval. It's a wasted opportunity. 2005 might not have really have happened, might it, the way things are going?
Well, I was listening to what you were saying in the studio, and I listened to Stewie saying about everyone got carried away with 05. He's absolutely right. I mean, there was so much hype, and it was great to win the Ashes. It was wonderful. But what followed that, and what went on there, the abuse of central contracts, people booking their holidays in the middle of the season, things like that, it just lost the plot. And it just, and the problem is that once the players get into that kind of habit, it takes a while to get them back out. But you're absolutely right, and what Stewie was saying was spot on. After 05, we got carried away. There was nothing put in plan by the ECB. There was no forward thinking. It was all, let's all give ourselves a medal, pat ourselves on the back, and happy days. And what have we done since then? Nothing.
Well, we've lost the Ashes, of course, on the return, and we then had a committee and the Schofield report, which I think you sat on, didn't you, Nasser, and sort of came up with various good ideas.